first successful blood transfusion carried out by British Royal Army, Mary Pickford was the first movie star to sign a $1 million contract. Jersey Shore shark attacks. The year is 1916, and this Pullman was available brand new. But before getting into all of it, I'm Jay. Welcome to What It's Like, the automotive channel that talks about cars that are not often talked about. We cover the classics, vintage, some exotics. We love the orphan cars and cars that are frankly being forgotten. Dive in deep with specs, talk history and design of these rolling works of art. If that sounds like a channel that you will totally dig, subscribe and hit the bell icon next to it to never miss a video. This 1916 Pullman is currently in a private collection and isn't for sale, but there is a really cool story of how I met the owner to this really cool car at the end of this episode. So stick around for that. It's really cool. In 1903, Albert Brummel made his first car and he named it Pullman. It featured 6 wheels and it was built in the Harwich factory with 3 axles evenly spaced. Only one Pullman 6-wheel prototype was ever made, and it was flawed with problems. If you got it on a road that wasn't level, it would teeter-totter going down the road. Eventually, it was wrecked, but they salvaged all the parts off of the car and put them onto production cars. 2 years later, in 1905, Albert Brummel, Samuel E. Bailey established the York Motor Car Company. A mechanic, James A. Klein, joined shortly after to improve the car. The car was named York because that's where the cars were made. They were made in York, Pennsylvania. In 1907, both James Klein and Samuel Bailey departed the company. They would go back into the automotive field in 1910 with the Klein car. In 1909, the York Motor Car Company changed its name to Pullman. Not to get confused with Pullman coaches, they get pulled behind train cars, but the reason Albert chose that name is because of the quality that was associated with that name because of the train car industry. Even though these two companies are totally different and they don't share anything with each other except for the name. Pullman was in business from 1909, technically 1905 to 1917. Pullman made high-end premium vehicles. Their slogan was not only the best at the price, but the best at any price. First Pullman cars built were large and expensive cars with 18 to 20 horsepower 4-cylinder engines. They grew to 40 horsepower by 1907, 6-cylinder by 1908. A range of bodies expanded after 1910. In 1910, Pullman won Fairmont Park's road race, 3 gold medals at the Russian Exposition in 1911. 1915 was a great year for Pullman. It was also a turning point for Pullman. Pullman produced 4,000 cars that year. Also hired a new plant manager by the name of Harry Hayden. He was brought in from Detroit to try to improve output. Pullman was pumping out 36 cars a day, and they were getting shipped to dealers, but the money for those cars, it never came in. An internal investigation showed Hayden was all bark and no bite, claiming orders when he clearly didn't have any orders, and all the cars that he did build, he just stored them in warehouses all over the country. Another reason for why they went under, they tried to scale too quickly. Pullman was a quality automobile manufacturer. When they tried to mass produce, quality suffered, as did their reputation. Pullman did make an attempt to make a cheaper car, the Pullman Jr., in 1916. There were so many discrepancies and they had no choice but to go bankrupt. There was an attempt to save the sinking ship and reorganize the company. They tried to secure government contracts for World War I to produce trucks, but it never solidified. In 1917, everything was auctioned off. Pullman made some 23,380 cars, and out of the 23,380, there's only said to be 27 that survive. It's worth mentioning that the original building which housed the Pullman factory still exists in York, Pennsylvania at 701 Hay Street, currently owned by Hay Street LLC. So let's talk 1916 Pullman models. You had the 2-passenger roadster, which our car is. the 3-passenger Clover Leaf Roadster, the Cinderella car or the Deluxe Coupe, 5-passenger touring sedan, 5-passenger touring car that doesn't have the top. They also offered trucks, enclosed and open bodied. Let's talk specs. I scoured the internet and this is all I could find. It rides a wheelbase of 114 inches. Price $740, which is equivalent to you spending $20,647.15 in the year 2023. Total Pullman production was 23,384 units. Only 27 of that number are known to survive. Moving on to engine, only one engine on offer. This one used the Golden, Belknap, and Schwartz engine. It was an engine company similar to Lycoming and Continental. They produced engines for lots of different companies, such as Pullman. They also supplied engines for C.R. Patterson and other various companies. It was good for 24 horsepower. I could not find an RPM figure. I would probably guess that it would be around 1200, maybe 1000 RPM. These engines did not rev very high. With a bore of 3.75 inches and a stroke of 4.25 inches, uses a Stromberg carburetor and magneto, has a 3-speed manual selective sliding type transmission behind it. Options. We're not getting into all of the options. This is just one that stood out to me. Coulter Hammer electric gear. It's a push-button transmission. This is one of the earliest push-button transmission systems I've ever seen. Do you know of one that came before this one? This one was plagued with problems, so they didn't sell that many of them. Check this out. Let's talk styling. Look at all of this. I love that you can see all of the inner workings. Leaf springs, conventional springs. Look at how these headlights are mounted. Coming down the side, take a look at the catwalk. How these fenders are designed. Down into the running boards. This is a toolbox. It has a bunch of memorabilia, fire extinguisher, some jack stand, just essentials. Coming to the rear, the trunk section. So that is the trunk situation. Very deep. It's very high. You would have to lift things up to put it inside the trunk. Spare tire. This was an accessory, and evidently there wasn't that many gas stations back in the day, so this is extra gas, oil, water, or you just label whatever one you wanted to put in these containers. Getting inside, notice it does not have any external door handles. The door handle is right here. And that's all the further the door opens. Just take a look at this interior. Coming down inside the pedal box down here. Clutch, brake, gas pedal. Notice the flat floor. On to the button switches and knobs, starting on the left and moving right. Amp meter, map light, just above the set of pins. The very first pin is the ignition, and believe it or not, it's the key, which you'll see in a minute. There are 3 other pins. One is for the headlights, one is for the panel lights, and I'm not sure what the last one does. Sight for oil, odometer, tripometer, speedometer, gasoline gauge. It's also where you put gas in at the top of the gauge. Here's what over the hood looks like. Here's what first person over the hood looks like. There is tons of space in between my lap and the steering wheel. Up above, there aren't any sun visors. There is a side mirror. There isn't a rear view mirror. And we can't do the glove box test because there isn't a glove box in which to test. Up here on the steering wheel, this one is for Spark Advance. This one is for hand throttle and or primitive cruise control. Gear shift lever, emergency brake and or hand brake. I guess that'd be better. It's a hand brake. Believe it or not, this little piece right here is the key. This is the key, and it goes in this hole, and then you push it in to activate it. Getting underneath the hood, just pull these up, move them out of the way. The hood is really light, and there it is.
That's all. So,
Okay, so you turned on the fuel valve.
it's a gravity feed.
In the back.
Gravity feed into the carburetor. Updraft carburetor. Magneto once you're running. We use the battery to start it though. It's out of gear. Let's see if I can do this. It's been a while. Push in the ignition switch. Pull out to kill it. And all it is a battery, or is a magneto kill switch. So that's in. Choke is here if I need it. Let's see if we can get her running. Wait a minute, let me give it a little bit of gas.
Oh, it sounds amazing.
I think that engine is 10. 10 to turn it real. He helped me do all. I did 3 engines at the same time. Here's 2 and one other one that's in the museum. Only got one. That's only got one, and I saw it right there.
On the positive side, if you own one of these, only you and 26 other people, in theory, have this car. I say in theory because who knows, maybe somebody has more than one. They are different. This model has a trunk. Maybe this car was one of the very first cars to have a trunk as part of the car. This one also has extra storage tanks for water, gas, and oil. Against it, these cars, not a lot of people are still around that know these cars. Finding people that would work on it, finding people that can find parts for these cars, because parts are really hard to find. And unfortunately, this car is one of those cars that is just being forgotten. It's being lost to time. Would you rather have a 1916 Studebaker or a 1916 Pullman or a 1917 Hotmobile? I'm going to leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free, pause the video. Now it's time for Name That Tune. First person to get both the name of the band and the song title will have their comment pinned to the top of the comment section. Thank you so much for coming out and watching this. If you'd like to get in touch with me, shoot me a comment in the comment section below or check out our Facebook group that correlates with this YouTube channel. If you'd like to reach me and you don't have Facebook, send me an email. All of that will be linked in the description below. Just know I appreciate all of the support. And until next time, toodaloo! Okay, a really quick story about how I met the owner. So a few months ago, and you never know who's watching. But anyway, a couple months ago, I got a call from Classic Auto Mall, which is totally weird because they never call me. I always call them. Well, anyway, so somebody wanted more information about this 1954 Hudson that I shot, which was weird because the car doesn't belong to me. I just did a review on it. So he gave me the number and I called the guy. It turns out that he was restoring he is still currently restoring a 54 Hudson Hornet, but he is doing it as a full-blown race car. I'm talking race engine, roll cage, and he was wondering where I got the footage of the 54 Hudson that was racing, because there's tons of footage of a Hudson Hornet racing from 51 to 53. Racing by 54, all of the others caught up to the Hornet, and they didn't really have the advantage that it once had in the early 50s, and they just wasn't racing the Hornet as much as they were in the early years. And I share this story because that opportunity opened up so many doors that I would have never had access to had I not called him back. And I met so many great people, so many car-loving people because of that door. And I just wanted to say thank you. Personally, I guess what I'm trying to say is don't let any door that cracks open in your life close shut, because you never know what is on the other side of that door. Had I not gone through that door, I would never have met some really incredible people. And I'm finding out that the classic car hobby is a lot of networking. You meet some really incredible people when you start networking, and join a club. Like, I was never part of an automotive club, but I'm finding out that that is honestly the best way to go, is to join a club, join the AACA. And by doing so, that's going to put you on the path to meet some really incredible people. I did, and I'm so glad that I went through that door. I totally cherish our friendship and can't wait to hang out again. Thank you so much for watching and sticking around to hear this story. Until next time, toodaloo.